Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's me again, Chelsea, and today I am doing my Anti TBR book tag. Now I found this through Hayley in Bookland and I've tagged her video down below. It was a great watch. I did really enjoy it. I've also tagged down below the original creator and her channel name is Nicole and the Books, I believe. I've also linked her video down below. She is the lovely person that created this tag and I'm interested to get into it. So before we get started, I do obviously want to say if you love these books, fantastic. Like, I'm not doing this to poop on anyone's choices. I'm not doing this because you shouldn't read these books and if I don't like them then you shouldn't read them. That's not this. That's not me either. These are just books and genres and that kind of thing that either I have read the descriptions of and it hasn't caught my attention, the genre itself is not for me at all, and or I've tried some of the books or one of the books and they just weren't for me. That's all it is. But let's get into the questions. So the first one is a popular book that everyone loves that you have no interest in. And for me, this has got to be the whole series of Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. Now, I don't think they sound like bad books. Like, they sound okay, but they're romance books. And as we go further on through this tag, you will realise romance is not my genre at all. So yes, I have no interest in checking out that book or any of the other books in that series. I am so glad people love them, but they're just not for me. The second question is a classic book and or author you don't have an interest in. Now, after watching Nicole's video, she does mention that there are obviously classical authors that are problematic and all of that fun stuff, like the things that they wrote about back in those times are no longer really acceptable nowadays. I'm so happy that a light is being shone on those kind of things. Personally, I have a shelf full of classics that I kind of read as a kid, you know, like Black Beauty and Jane Eyre and all that kind of stuff, but me now as an adult, I think I'm an adult, I don't really read classics. I kind of have them on my shelf as nostalgic things. I don't really imagine that I will want to read any of them anytime soon. That might change, but for now, just old classics in general, I do not want to read. I have no real interest in reading. The third question is an author that you have no interest in reading, and for me, hands down, this is Jennifer L. Almondtrout. I know her books are really popular, especially now since the From Blood and Ash series, and everyone is loving it, and there's special edition boxes coming out and all sorts of things. But for me, I've got no interest. I know it's sold as like a fantasy romance, but I've watched a couple of booktubers videos on the first book especially, and it seems as though there's a lot of attention given to the romance, and I'm just not here for a lot of books about love. Got me said. A lot of the books that I read, if there is a love interest in them, obviously it's very rare that I find books that don't have romance in them, but I feel as though I need to be interested in the story as well, and the romance needs to not be in the main focus. So that's why I have no interest in reading her books, really. The fourth question is an author that you have read a couple of books from and have decided that the books are no longer for you. For me, this is John Green. I read his books, or a couple of his books, like Paper Towns and The Fault in Our Stars, years ago, again when I was a teenager, and I did like them. I went through a bit of a contemporary romance phase when I was a lot younger, and I've grown out of that, and I have rediscovered my love of dragons and spaceships. So there's that. I don't think his books are for me anymore. I'm definitely not his target audience. I haven't read his books for so long, but definitely The Fault in Our Stars I adored, and I thought it was really, really good, because when I read that book it was around the time when I lost someone from cancer as well, so it was just quite a nice read. I don't know if that's the right way to talk about it, but I did enjoy that book, but no longer. I think I've kept his books on my shelves more for, again, nostalgic reasons. I don't want to reread them. I remember having really fond feelings for the books I do have on my shelf, and I don't want to ruin that, so I'm not planning on rereading him or any of his new releases. The fifth question is a genre you have no interest in or a genre you have tried and couldn't get into. And if you haven't noticed from the past questions, I'm going to say romance, contemporary as well. I'm going to include contemporary in that as well, because yes, my main book buying problem revolves around fantasy. That is just my chosen genre. I really love fantasy. I have quite a few sci-fis on my shelves now that I am in love with, and I also have some thrillers as well, mainly YA thrillers. I quite like them, but contemporary books aren't really my cup of tea anymore. Like, there has to be some sort of paranormal, magical quality to a contemporary to get me to read it, you know. I'm quite happy to have like the human world meshed with fae. That's quite cool. Or I don't know, I'm not really a big werewolf person or a big vampire person either. Although J. Kristoff's new book sounds amazing. I cannot wait to read those kinds of vampires. But yes, anyways, I've gone completely off track. Romance and contemporary are the genres that I have absolutely no interest in, and I don't buy books from. Now, the next question is one that kind of calls us all out as book collectors and bookworms alike, but it is a book you have bought that you will never read, and I really hope this changes, but I reckon it will be the whole of the Assassin's Creed series. I have the first 4 books. I think I bought them so I could get onto like the same mental wavelength as my other half, because he loves the Assassin's Creed games, or some of them, and I have no idea what he's on about, so I thought I'd try them in book form. They sound good. I'm sure I will enjoy them when I get into it. Obviously, it's more like historical fiction, I guess these are, because they're set like many a year ago, funnily enough. But yes, I hope it changes, but I reckon out of any of the books on my shelves, the ones that I will not actually read are these ones. So the 7th question is a series you have no interest in reading, or a series you have started and DNF'd. And for me, that is Crazy Rich Asians, that whole series by Kevin Kwan. I read the first book, Crazy Rich Asians, back some point last year and did not like it at all. I did not like the way it was written. I did not like the fact that there was very prominent bullying and, like, you know, class divides and all that fun stuff. I just didn't enjoy it, so I don't want to carry on with that series, and that's literally it. And the final question is a new release you have no interest in reading, and funnily enough, that will be the new book in Jennifer L. Armentrout's From Blood and Ash series. No interest in reading that particularly. I've already discussed that really. But the other ones I wanted to include that aren't new releases this year, but they were quite big in 2020, is Midnight Sun by Stephanie Meyer. I read the first Twilight book many a year ago and then tried to read the second one and couldn't, so I never completed that series, and I had no interest in reading the first book from Edward's perspective either. Like, no. If you love that book, fantastic, but personally, no interest. And then the other one is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins, which is the prequel to The Hunger Games, and The Hunger Games I adored when I read them. I don't want to ruin the fact that I read them, you know, like I remember really enjoying them, and I think if I go back and I reread them, or if I read this prequel, then it'll just take away those happy memories that I had from when I was a kid, and I don't want to do that, you know. I like retaining the happy memories from my childhood, but yeah. So those are some that I just have no interest in. So that was all of the questions for this Anti TBR book tag. I hope you have enjoyed it. To be honest, this may change. I might get to later on in the year and discover that I have a really big love of romance. I did read 1 or 2 like contemporary romances last year, and I did enjoy them. So it's not impossible for me to like contemporary books, you know, but they're just not ones I reach for, and I might end up reading some of these books anyways, but I highly doubt it. Where I am right now, I'm not interested. I don't think I will be interested. I'm gonna save my money and spend it on all the dragon books pretty much. And there are some amazing books out at the minute containing dragons. Keep an eye out for a video coming soon, but yes. So that is everything for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up. Really supports me and my channel. Are there any books you actually have no interest in reading? Let me know down below. I am interested, or try and convince me to read these books. If you love these books and you want me to read them, try and change my mind. Let me know down below. And if you want to see more of me, please consider subscribing down below and clicking the notification button so you get notified every time I upload new content. But that is everything for today's video. I really hope you're having an amazing day, and I will see you soon in the next video. Bye!